Welcome back to the class, everyone. We are currently in the 5th match. Yeah, we're getting really into it, or no. Yeah, 5th match of this 3v3 season. We did win our last match, which was nice, because we hadn't been doing too well up until then. We were up against Iden, and it was a really fun match. It did definitely help that we won. We ended up winning just because we could full clear, but if you want to check that match out, please do. For now, we are going to be going against Cayman, which that's a fun name. And before we really get into what the board looks like, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a look at his roster. Here are his stats. We do have some advantages in some places, but overall he has the more overarching theme. He does have 200 more relic levels than us, which is pretty normal by this point. Isaiah had a lot fewer, but 200 is about where we typically sit. We do have the advantage in mods. Decent amount of plus 15s. We have 70 more of those, 20 more plus 20s. Nothing too different from what we typically face. As far as Omicrons go, we have the same amount, but they're on different things. He's doubled down on a few of his, I guess we'll call them pseudo-galactic legends. He has 2 of Darth Malgus as well as 2 of Star Killers. So he's missing both Dash as well as, was it First Order TIE Pilot, I believe? Yeah, I think it is. So one of the newer ones, one of the older ones a lot of people didn't get. Like I said, we have better mods, but he has better relic levels. And he does have Rey, of course. So that's going to always be a thorn in our side until it isn't, which hopefully will be soon. We're finally down to just 3 characters, but onto the actual match here. He has not started attacking yet. We're only an hour in. And our defense, we did change things just slightly. I didn't change my Sith Empire lineup. I still don't like these lineups, but this opponent has a tendency to burn whole galactic legends on whole teams that he really shouldn't. Like, I think his last 3 counters to Darth Revan was SLKR or Lord Vader. So I'm just leaving those up. I'm going to let him burn what he needs, just that when he gets to the back wall, he hopefully just gets crushed by this. We did swap things out just a little bit. I put my repost JML here just because I kept looking at his JMK, and it's faster than my JML, and I didn't want to risk that losing even with repost. I've never done that battle, and I don't really need to worry about that because I can just take in my own JMK, and we should be fine. Like this datacron really isn't. Yeah, it's not very good, especially in the mirror when they can't remove turn meters. So we should be fine there because my JMK does have the Stunacron. Hopefully that doesn't bite me in the butt because there is a way it can do that. And he's got some interesting teams here. Versus Malgus, we're probably just going to chicken out and use full C there. Here, I think Thrawn Vader can beat this, which is pretty. If that works, that's going to be pretty gross because not only did he burn Crew, Darth Revan, and he burned all 3 of them for one team, assuming we can beat it. This should be pretty easy. This is not the good Rey Datacron. It is the one that makes her just tankier. So SLKR, not SLKR what, but SLKR and Mon Mothma should do just fine there. And then honestly, his top wall is really not that bad. So we should be fine. But let's go ahead and find out. All right, so here we go. So I make the largest error that I have made in GC here in a very, very long time. So we have a plan here to call their Darth Revan as soon as we get in here, and this is just such a huge misplay. So one of the things that happens in this is when you're up against Star Killer, if you are debuffed, you lose 50% of your damage. Not 50% of your offense, but 50% of your damage is just halved. So I'm in here, I'm like, okay, I would really like to get the ability block on Crew, but I know it's tenacity down, and we were talking with chat, I'm like, I think we'll get 2 more turns, and that 2 more turns will take off the tenacity down. And I had other options that I could have done. This was so wildly avoidable. We could have started attacking Star Killer and Darth Revan and then gone after Crew third. There was absolutely no reason to hit Crew first here. And we did. We gave ourselves tenacity down for no gain. And now we're stuck with tenacity down when we have our big hit on Darth Revan. And I had specifically mapped this out. Like, I had done the exact math for the amount of damage we would do here. And I know right now that we have no shot. We have absolutely no shot at getting the coin blade on Darth Revan. And even if we wait until the next turn, we might be stunned or even worse. Or sorry, we might be shocked or even worse stunned. So yeah, this is not really this is really bad. So we go for the Colt anyways. As you can see, with the 50% damage down, that's game. That is entirely game right there. There is no coming back for that. We're not going to be able to get back to the Cole. And then Darth Revan in this comp, this is pretty nasty. Darth Revan in this comp has over 500 speed between Ferocity and Star Killer's bonus. So We go ahead and we throw a few other things at it just to kind of see what else can get somewhere, if anything. And I mean, you'll see how it goes here. But also, I probably should mention somewhere in this video, the reason why this video is coming like a week later than it should be right now is because I had COVID for pretty much the entirety of last week. That's why there have been no streams, there have been no YouTube videos, there's been no podcast. We've made a pretty good recovery. As you guys can see, I'm sitting here talking now and not unconscious, because that's how I spent most of COVID. But yeah, so this was the battle. This is probably showing an entire week afterwards, now that I think about it. But I mean, that mistake right there, I mean, I'm basically spoiling it from here, but that cost us the entire match. Like, we don't even get close to taking down this team now. And this was really frustrating in the moment, because I had done the math. It was going to work, but because I so poorly misplayed here, it ends up just blowing up in our face. So we come to try to take it out with Giant Revan. I do take in 2 damage dealers, just because I know we're not gonna have a ton of damage to be able to work against the Starkiller with, because of, you know, him getting 100% extra protection and health. So go ahead and try to take in these 2. I think we get kind of close, but again, Darth Revan running at an effective 500 speed is really nasty. So we pretty much just give up on that, and that right there means that we don't full clear. So as long as our opponent can clear pretty much any 2 walls, then he wins, which is a really low bar to set things at. So we're able to stun Cat before she gets going, because we have the Stunnicron on our JMK. I didn't take in my JML this time because the JMK was too fast. I wasn't going to be able to ability block him right off the get-go, and if you can't ability block him right off the beginning, the match becomes really hard to control, at least in 3s. We actually, in one of the matches that we did while we were having COVID, actually did a JML versus JMK where we were faster. However, JMK flat out just dodged my my efflux, and the whole thing went downhill. I mean, we got our GK, but it wasn't enough. But yeah, this fight's going fine for the most part. I mean, there really was no way this was gonna fail, especially given the advantage we had as far as speed goes. But yeah, so next one, this is an old favorite of mine, SLKR Mon Mothma. Never fails. This is getting stupid. Like, it's so easy to pull this one off, and we even tried it. I was curious if this would work. We went up against a super damage ray recently where we took in GBA and Watt, but even then we managed to pull it off, even with her bonus damage. Her SLKR is just such a good counter. Yeah, we just completely take him to town here. We do get rid of R2, which is nice, because R2 does also offer like a very small amount of offense. I was talking with quite a few people recently. His is one of the stat shares that it is not aged well. Like, we have all these stat shares that are like 50% something, and yeah, his it's really very small. But yep, Ray goes down here very easily, which is nice for us. We go ahead and take out Malgus. Now, Malgus is there, and that worries me a little bit. Actually, I did, again, one of my COVID matches, I tried my trio versus I think it was pretty much this exact comp, and Darth Malgus did his big hit right off the first hit, and just one-shot Trey, and that ended the whole match right there. We weren't able to cycle around with Nihilus. He kept getting feared. And then on top of that, their Malgus just had enough damage to rip through both my Scion and Nihilus, and we didn't really get anywhere. But yeah, so C works just great. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied overall with Malgus's viability. I think he's not too broken. I don't think he's got as good as Starkiller is, which is I guess is kind of where he wanted, but at the same time, he makes the team better than it was before. So. And that's not that easy. Starkiller is a pretty good team. Or sorry, not Starkiller, but Darth Revan. We go ahead and take in our gas our Wampa versus their gas. Again, at this point in the battle, I think maybe even actually before this, we're in full testing mode here. We know, unfortunately, we've already lost. We know we're not coming back from this. I can't remember. I think we tried to draw out cooldowns, actually. And that was actually really fun how that worked out. We killed Rex just because I didn't want to have to go through 5's defense. I would just go through Rex defense. And then, yeah, I mean, gas is really easy to kill. I think we used a burner on that one to make sure that Rex wouldn't have his TM up. And then this one, I mean, this is going to go how it always does, taking in our Nest versus Shaak T. As long as they have these two sides, it makes things very easy. Even having 5s in there makes things also pretty easy. And I think I do this differently than everyone. Everyone that I ever talk to, they always say they go after Shaak first. And actually, I'd like to leave Shaak for last because I don't want to get big hits from Arc and Echo back to back to the point where my protection up isn't doing nearly as much as I need it to. And Shaak is really the only one giving buffs. So without her there, we're not gonna get very far as stacking crit damage goes. I think the argument that a lot of people will use for going after Shaak first is that she gives stacking crit damage whenever she does her one call to assist, and that can apparently get you closer to killing you. But I don't think we've ever lost this. Yeah, not that I can remember at least. But yeah, we get Arc down, we get Echo pretty close down. Echo is a lot easier to take care of once Arc is down. He doesn't do as much damage, but on top of that, Shaak isn't able to stealth him because he's not an attacker. He's registered as a support character, which is weird because he really isn't support at all. Now this fight is fun, and this is actually how this battle has gone every single time. I guess we're gonna have the calculator up on the page. Good job, Calvin. This is pretty much how this battle has gone every single time that we fought in a super CLS. We fought in maybe 4 super CLSs in this 3v3 season, and all we had to do every single time to beat it was just take in either JTR or Bad Batch and throw the 25% turn meter on them, and it always just works completely fine. Like it's actually been kind of a breath of fresh air. As much as like datacrons are changing everything, pretty much the entire game, these counters, as long as you have the 25% turn meter datacron to offset their 25% turn meter, it works with like pretty good success. Their Chewbacca was really annoying. He wouldn't even get daze on himself even after we had applied tenacity down, which is really annoying because that means we really get screwed by RNG. But yeah, from here, once Nubok is down, CLS is dazed. They're not going anywhere or doing anything. You can even see they have repos, just doesn't make a difference. So like I said, we were in full on pretty much testing mode here. So we went ahead and took in our Iden versus their Mon Mothma, and this is really just kind of a bad idea because we're still using like gear 12 Iden versus Kyle-Katarn, and like both my sides are gear 12 as well, and they're fully relicked. And yeah, this just doesn't, we don't have enough stacking damage to be able to get through them. And I was talking to someone else and they were like, oh, you just take in range instead of storm, that way you have enough damage. Even under geared, it works. I do it every time. We tried that again in one of my COVID off match seasons. Kyle-Katarn one-shot Death Trooper immediately. Like pretty much as soon as the battle started, he used a saber to throw, killed my gear 12 Death Trooper, and that was pretty much it. So this counter is obviously viable, just not in 3v3 and not at a huge gear discrepancy. If we were, relic 3s across the board, I'm sure that we would eventually have enough damage to get through them. The one thing that was kind of nice is I believe he had turn meter, and we were able to time it right with the other 2 attempts so that he wouldn't have turn meter. I think that's what we did. And with that, we're able to get several kills here, which is very nice. And the one thing that Imperial Troopers don't have to worry about that Wampa does is they don't have a dispel. Or Wampa doesn't have a dispel, but Troopers do. So we're able to dispel Kara's potency up, which is really all we need to make sure she doesn't get any revives. And then we kill the rest of the team, and that's all she wrote. And now we go ahead and take in our bounty hunters up against this weird Dooku team. The way that I thought that I'd looked at the health and protection before this, I thought it was going to be the Brute that was going to be the contract. Didn't start that way, but also doesn't really end up mattering here, as you guys can see. And this is really annoying. Now they're stealthed, and we have our Annihilate up. So I'm like, okay, I just want to Annihilate him for him to come back. So let's try to hold down the fort here a little bit. They're all about to take a turn. Maybe one of them will come out of stealth. We make sure to at least keep him stunned or whatever. And then we get out, but now we don't have tenacity up. Or not tenacity up, crit chance up. So that's a bummer. Go ahead and call on everyone with grief. That way we get back to, we get more turn meter. and we're able to annihilate Jango because he was really the threat of killing us. I mean, these other three will be annoying, sure, but the one that was going to do enough damage to just body us is going to be Jango, and now he's dead. So this, I mean, the rest of this match is pretty much gone. We're able to kill their Geo without even having to do anything fancy like an annihilate or disintegrate rather. He does quite a bit of damage from a Bossk there. We can't daze him, but eventually we were able to snipe him out, so that was nice. And now we need to kill his Finn Perspro team thingamabob. Not that hard. It's actually, the beginning is really annoying with the onslaught. I believe they have the 25% turn meter, and I was really looking for a team that I had that was going to be able to get through, or really be able to take that onslaught and still be able to do things. So we went in with this, and this wasn't great because now they're all inspired, and I don't want them to all counter me, because if they counter me, I don't have unlimited brutes to put out there. So we go ahead and we just go after the one that's going to do the least amount of damage to us, hoping extortion spreads. And I really would like to go after the other Finn, but he doesn't have extortion, so we're not able to call in a lot of hits on him. And we rip inspired off of Poe, but I'm pretty sure as long as Finn is inspired, they're gonna counter, which is annoying. But anyways, we go ahead and try to double chat Poe there. Go ahead and we keep the brute going. So this is kind of nice. And now they're all extorted, so we have a fair amount of speed on them, but the counters are still very annoying, and we have to really need to get that inspired off of Finn for them to stop doing things to us. So we eventually just go after him. We get the whatchamacallit off. We get extortion on everyone. Now they're finally not going to counter. We can finally just start killing them, and that's exactly what we do. We kill Finn, and then we kill Poe. But yeah, so they had health steal in there. That was one of the other things that made them really annoying, is they kept doing too much damage and healing back up. So now we go into ships. Ships go pretty much as well for us as they always do. Malevolence versus Empire, it's very straightforward. We have not lost at this. I was talking with one of our previous opponents not too long ago about this counter, and like sometimes it's bad banners, but it just never loses. Like, yeah, sure, we'll get a 62 every now and then, but yeah, I mean, it works super well. I think we fought almost every single variation of this too. But yeah, we get rid of the bomber immediately. We bring in Spy. I'm trying to figure out what we want to do here, and I think we make the right call. We just basic the prototype, get him out of there. His foresight's really annoying, actually. And yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that foresight, but we know we're going to have to, because Vader's going to be dead in 2 hits anyways. Although maybe looking back on it, we didn't really need to do that. But we do go ahead and use the mass assist on the TIE Fighter pilot. I didn't really want to give him turn meter before, but I guess that could have been avoided now. But yeah, we go ahead and get the cleanse over there. I don't know why I did it on Vulture. I don't think that was smart. I don't think that was the right move. Chimera gets their big hit, as they typically do. And then we just take them down, because they don't really have anything left to work with. I mean, Shuttle's pretty good, but we're about to get to our ult, and we still have 3 characters on the field here. They get rid of our whatchamacallit. We get the ult out, which is nice because we have more than enough damage to be able to kill their last tank. And there we go. So 62. Gotta love it. So we go ahead and bring in our Raddus counter thingamabob against their Executor. This is purely for a burner. This is not a counter that's going to work. And I haven't... So ever since I've been gearing up this team, it's kind of thrown everything off for me. So we had the timeout there. And now we're going to go ahead and bring in our rebels. The enemy does what they typically do. And now we just need to focus hard on Cad Bane. They put too many hits into Biggs, and now Biggs is probably going to die. I think we just go for the heal here, if I remember correctly, because the basic isn't a guaranteed big hit, and we're probably going to lose what's-his-face. So we just go ahead and guarantee with the assist that we get the kill there. So that's very nice. And now they're still not taunting. All right, let's go ahead and give IG a whack over there. Luckily, they House to go ahead and dispels the whatchamacallit on himself, so that's really, really great for us. Don't have to really worry about that. Then we go ahead and knock out their IG there. That was very nice. Because really what we have to do to make this counter work is to pretty much guarantee that you keep getting kills on them and don't let them overpower you. Yeah, I typically don't like to take in Biston this early, but given the opportunity that we had before was was the right move. I would like to have all 5 of my characters on the field rather than just these 4. We do go for the shield disruptor. Not really sure if that was quite the right move there. Because they were able to rip it off immediately. Now we finally go ahead and get to bring in our Phoenix crew, get the assist on there, really trying to take out Razor Crest, not really working, and they got Breach out now. Bring in Slave 1 on top of that. I'm like, okay, this isn't, I don't exactly love everything that's happening right now. Go ahead and cleanse the Breach, that way we get a clear target on Razor Crest. They do get Contract now, which is not good for us at all. Don't get the assists of the 2 or whatever that we need on Slave 1 to be able to kill him. And now they're going to be able to take us down. So this is good, but it also kind of just doesn't matter because we're going to be able to clean this up with Thrawn. As long as you can get it down to just the 2 of them, it's not that hard. Houndstooth is actually super hard to kill though on his own. Once he, gets protection back because we don't land shield disruptor or buff meter or whatever it was. So yeah, they do end up taking us down, but that is not really the end of the world. So we go ahead and we bring in our junk fleet, our dregs, if you will, just to clean this up. This is a little sketchy because there's 2 of them. Typically when it's just Houndstooth, it's very, very easy. Houndstooth cannot get their contract and can't kill us either, so he's pretty much just kind of useless. And we're trying to bring in characters to really ward off any chance of them getting to their ultimate right away. So we go ahead and bring in Ebon Hawk, who puts out the chaff, which stops all the target lock, which is exactly what we want. And we do get quite a few good hits in on Slave 1 before Houndstooth starts taunting, which is nice. And now, we're just trying to bring out gonna try to bring out some tanks to help guard ourselves. We don't rip the buff off just because there's kind of no point, because they have Breach out. So again, we're getting there. We only need 2 more turns now, and we go ahead and use the ability to give more turn meter because they don't have target lockout yet, and we don't need to put more chaff. Now they do, and we go ahead and get rid of that. Not looking too good, so we go ahead and bring in Sarge just to make sure that we survive. A lot of our characters are looking pretty weak there. We already have the taunt going, so that's fine. And we get finally just down to Slave 1. We can target him, we kill him, and Thrawn comes in and wipes him out. And now the last one to do, and this is pretty simple, is just First Order versus Raddus. Not really a whole lot the enemy can do on this one either. We actually did lose with the last time when we got really, really bad RNG back to back with a lot of dodges. I don't like starting Echelon versus this fight. We've done it a total of once, and that is the only time we've ever lost. So I don't know, like I said, if that was just bad RNG with dodges or what, but we're able to get the crit immunity off of their taunter, which is really all you need to do. Then just get him down. We have enough hits between the rest of the team. And now we can go ahead and call an Echelon, try to get rid of as many of those buffs or stun the Millennium Falcon so the big hit doesn't just level the entire team. Again, getting rid of the Foresight on the Millennium Falcon, because that's really what he's the damage dealer here. We're with the one-shot Sarge, which is nice. We doesn't go into stealth, because that's always really, really annoying. And then, pretty much once we get to this part, it's game over. We're able to just shoot everyone else down, and we end up taking out those 2 walls, and I don't have... This is over a week since the last GAC arrived. I guess I got to pull up the history, but I don't have that really ready right now. But we do end up losing the match, and this was a really painful loss too, because of our stupid mistake again with the Darth Revan Starkiller team. Our opponent wasn't able to clear ground or fleet. He could only take out the first 2 walls, and I think even drop battles on them too. But because ground is worth so much more, and we couldn't get through one of his top walls, it didn't matter. So we ended up taking the loss on this one, which, you live, you learn. It was just so avoidable. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and as always, stay awesome.